Hey guys, when we want to do something, especially something that scares us, we always feel that we need to be ready and we need to know how to do everything. Like, oh, I'll do that when I'm ready. Like, I need to learn a bit more. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. And we always think we need to know the knowledge and how to do this and how to do that. I want to tell you that you don't need to know everything. You don't need to be ready. It's not true. What you believe in your mind, that's just your fear taking over you and stopping you from starting. And you don't need to know how you're going to do something to be able to do it. And so I want to prove this by telling you a little story about when I wanted to leave uni. But before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified when I release a new video. So, I just finished my first year at uni, and I knew that I didn't want to go. I knew that I didn't want to stay at uni. I knew that I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to do the second year, but I had no choice. I knew if I left now, I'd have no money. I'd have nothing. I'd be in the same position that I was before uni, and I'd have to go back to living with my dad and that, and that wasn't something that I wanted to do because I loved living on my own so much, and I didn't want to go back and living with my parents and that. I wanted to leave and be able to live on my own. And I remember being in the kitchen and saying to myself, like, I'm not going to do year 3. I am not going to do year 3. And I was adamant about it. I knew I wasn't going to do it, but I didn't know how. I remember saying to myself, how am I going to leave? How am I going to leave and be able to afford to pay for living on my own, living in my own apartment and that? What am I going to do? I don't want to get just a normal job. I don't want to work a normal job. How am I going to make money for myself? And at that point, I didn't know how I was going to do it. And a couple of months went by, and I really wasn't trying very hard with my work at uni. All that was on my mind was leaving and trying to make enough money to live on my own. And I was asking myself, how can I make money? How can I do this? And just suddenly out of nowhere, I remember back in the day doing this thing called matched betting. And I remember back in the day I made probably about £1,000 from it. And so I tried it again, and I did some match betting. I actually made about 1,500 quid in about a month. In about a month, and I was like, hell yeah, now we're getting started. I'm making some money. But 1,500 quid was nice, but it wasn't enough, and I couldn't really make any more money with that. And so I was like, how else can I make money? I started trying to think outside the box a bit more, and I was like, I could do some dog walking. I love dogs. I like walking. I do some dog walking that. That'd be a really good way of doing it. I remember signing up to a site called Tailster and doing that, and I was like, I could sell some stuff. And so I did some of that. I was like, I could help some friends out if they needed helping out. No one actually needed helping out, but I was willing to do that. I remember I was willing to be an extra. I signed up to be an extra for a film. And I was so nervous that right at the very last, or right when I was about to do it, like the day before, or even maybe on the day, I phoned them up and said that I couldn't do it, and they were very, very angry with me. But I just got too scared, and I let the anxiety get on top of me and the fear. But anyway, bypassed that. Another one that I thought I could do was something like medical trials. And so skipping to about March, I went on a medical trial, and I went on about a 14-day trial there. That made me another couple of grand, and in total, after doing everything, I had made about £6,000. And I was like, whoa, this is enough for me to actually leave uni and actually get my own apartment. So like a couple of weeks after doing the medical trial, I left. And this was like the happiest day of my life. I'd actually did what I set out to achieve. I never looked back. I left uni. I never looked back. I'd done it. And I'd actually made more money than I'd probably ever made before. And I'll be honest with you, still to this day, I don't know how I did it. That whole year was just dedicated to leaving uni and making enough money for myself to be able to leave uni. I had some help with the student loans as well. I think once I had that £6,000, and then I was expecting another £3,000. So the student loans helped, but I needed more than just the student loans. I had to make money myself, and I took the initiative and actually did it. And I didn't have a plan. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but all I had was the will and the belief that I would make it. And it's quite funny because not that long after like doing all this and living in my own apartment, I saw this quote, and it said, stop worrying how it will happen and start believing that it will. And without even knowing it back at the time, I did this. I did exactly that. And that's now how I live my life. I don't know how I'm going to achieve a lot of my goals. I don't know how I'm going to improve my business all the time. And I'm not worried that I don't know that kind of stuff. I just know that I will get there. I have the belief that I'll get there. I don't worry about how it's going to happen now. I believe that it will. Because I know I've proved to myself that just through belief, I can make stuff happen. So stop worrying how it will happen and start believing that it will. That's all for today, guys. I'll see you in the next video.